Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journey without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth, and to be moved, be inspired, and discover that you're not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Duval, and I am the owner of Valued Productions. We are a video marketing business helping other businesses become more successful through the power of video. And I am joined by my awesome co-hosts today.
Good morning, everyone. Trinity Baker. I am a mindset coach, which means I take people from survival mode and I bring them into thrival mode, living as their true selves and their happiest lives. And I'm joined here today with my co-host.
You inventing a word just never gets old to me. I smile every time. Hi, my name is Danielle. I am the owner of Aerial Jade. I am an aerialist. That's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people how to do it too. Today we have our wonderful guest with us.
How you doing? I'm Seth Harris. I'm the owner and operator of the Foundry Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Farmington, Maine. I also was a former physical therapy assistant up until January 1st of this year before I went full-time into the Jiu-Jitsu world.
Oh, I can't wait to have that conversation.
That's intense.
Yeah, that's a little nugget that we didn't talk about because there is that. It's not always. I think the entrepreneurial journey is not always like going from a career to going to full business. And sometimes, like I'm still working as a nurse. I think sometimes we have that bridge. So tell us about that bridge, Seth. That is really exciting. Congratulations, because you new level of business.
Yeah, for sure. So, boy, it's been a long road. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu and teaching for almost 20 years now. And it's funny because when I first started doing it, I was a young whippersnapper, right? And I remember telling my mom, I was like, yeah, one day I could own my own school, that'd be pretty cool. And she was kind of like, is there money in it? You should go to school, you should go to college, and so anyway, so it's been a long road, and it's kind of funny because in the middle of that journey, I kind of just sort of forgot about that dream a little bit and just did the 9 to 5 as well as teaching jiu-jitsu. And then somewhere along the way, it was probably maybe 5 years ago, it started to click a little bit that I could do, the jiu-jitsu thing full time if I sort of pivoted a little bit and planned a little bit and adjusted a little bit. And yeah, it was a gradual, slow cut down in hours from the clinic until finally I just had to take the jump this past new year. So it's exciting. And it's working out great so far. I'm loving it.
It certainly is passion work, and there does come a warning sign in terms of the financial side. But what's incredibly interesting is I feel like the younger aerialists, when I first became an aerialist a decade or plus ago, those people became doctors and physical therapists. So you just did it in reverse, but a lot of aerialists that were aerialists young went to school in that field. So I just find that really interesting. Yeah, so I guess it doesn't matter how you get there, but we all just want to participate in the athletic world once you're kind of self-committed to it. There's this give back need.
Yeah, 100%. And so I had co-owned the business all along with another person. And then when I went to school for to be a PTA, I said, this is my plate's full, you take the business. And I'm going to teach still, but I don't want to run any of the stuff. And then when COVID happened, I think that burnt her out. And so she approached me and was like, hey, you want it back? And I was like, yes, like my life is ready for it now. And so that was in the end of 2020. And when she gave it back to me, it had 15 paying students, and now I have 145 paying students. So yeah, so that was kind of like another shift of like, hey, what I'm doing now is working, and so like I need to focus on that and keep that grind going. So
that's a lot of students, I mean.
yeah, kids and adults, yeah, for sure.
I actually work out of a dojo.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I'm around all the equipment. I don't know what any of it does. I just know that knives hanging on the wall and like fake dummies that scare me. Sometimes I have to put something over them.
Yeah.
But do you know in dummies they even put the impression of jeans on it? So it's like this giant rubbery thing you like beat up or train on, and it just has like these jeans imprinted in it. So creepy.
Jeans is my absolute worst night. Like I try not to wear them at all whatsoever because they just are not like my road language, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm in a giant onesie right now.
I love that. I love that for you so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's super cool, Seth, being transitioning from like doing something that was like the paying the bills job to then going all into what you wanted to do. I think that's very inspiring. I know myself, like when I first started my business, a similar position, I had a part-time job, and my goal was only to make part-time income from my business so I could have full-time income. But then, in doing the stuff, you get to that point where it's like, okay, do we take that jump in? And I just want to commend you for that because that's definitely inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, it definitely takes a leap of faith at some point, because so what I was doing is since my school runs in the evening, I was able to do 40 hours a week at the clinic, and then however many, 3 hours in the evening or whatever it took. But it got to a certain point where I wasn't able to do 40 hours at the clinic and maintain my standards of what I want to do, like how fast I want to answer customers, how, like all this stuff, remembering to place orders. And so it got to a point where when I got so many students, it was very hard to do both. Like, yeah, technically I could fit both in the schedule, but I wasn't able to deliver the product for my business to the level that I wanted to. And so there was a point where I had to be like, okay, when I transition over to doing my thing full time, that first year or first whatever, there definitely is going to be like, I will be leaving some money on the table, but I have to have faith that with that extra time, I'll be able to build my business up to the point to recoup that, that income that I was like, I had to say bye to, basically.
Exactly. And
deeply understand.
yeah. And
it can be a trap.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing about it is like being able to push through, but knowing that you're doing it with something that you love, like you said, Danielle, like the passion behind it. Because like the time becomes the currency at that point where you're putting that in versus just like, the paycheck or whatever.
It also is a whole different ball game when it becomes something that's yours. When it's your business, that whole standard is so different. Like, I'm always a hard worker, graduated high school 2 years early, like blew through nursing school. I was the best employee, like pick up overtime. Nurses didn't come in, I'd be there. Like, best employee. But when it's your own business and it's your name on it and the integrity of you and what you can do, it is a whole different ballgame. And I don't think you understand that until you're named there. And then you're like, wow, there's a whole different level of standards that I have now.
Yes, definitely. Most
I feel
definitely.
like I didn't have a choice.
It also acts as water, so I can put it under people's armpits, and people that can't do normal exercise all of a sudden can. It's an art form. It's an athletic adventure. So you put someone in a hammock and they have sensory issues, and I close it all up. They literally feel like they're back in the womb. I like see people revert emotionally all the time to these small things. And that's truly like I use those tools when people come in with addictions or open about struggles. Is I look at it exactly how you do in your job. What's so interesting, since you said the pink thing, I want to touch on that. So whenever someone asked what I was doing, I'd be like, oh, I'm an aerialist. About 80% of people didn't know what it was, nor do they care to ask you what that is. They'll just stay quiet and don't bother. When Pink started doing it, people started clicking what I was. So thank God for her, because I was one of the earlier old school aerialists. Like, it was because of her, people could see what I was. And it was kind of cool because people envisioned me in stilettos on a giant stage flying when really it was like clubs and DJs. But close. A lot like that. Yeah, so thank God she came along, because it gave especially for people in Maine the idea of what I was doing, because it was like 2011, like it was just the art form had just started taking popularity. When I was recruited, I still didn't even know who Cirque du Soleil was, and I was recruited by them, like the cast, and I didn't know who they were. Like, like when you I just didn't even know their importance. So I was shocked when I figured out that was who saw light in me. I was like, oh my God, really? Me?
But it often does a lot take that one person that believes in you or shows you the light or shows you the possibility or shines the light on your skills some way, somehow, that one shows others, brings that awareness from others, right? But also awareness for yourself that like, hey, I really can do this. I really am on the right path. Oftentimes I think we all see that in clients. Like Graham, I'm sure you've had a client that's like iffy on how can I get behind that camera? I'd have anxiety, or what if I say something wrong, or my facial features or whatever, and then all of a sudden they do it and it like clicks. I mean, I think I was one of those clients.
Yeah, most definitely. You most definitely were. And it just kind of shows the whole the power of testimonials, of someone else talking about and giving that opportunity. I mean, just kind of on a side note of like with marketing and stuff like that, I've had the most success with like running ads or doing marketing campaigns or things like that, where the stuff that we're pointing to is like case studies or testimonials or things like that of people talking about that business or whatever the thing is, and so having that opportunity of someone, highlighting their experience, which I think is awesome with what you do, Rhett, like, being that light and like giving that opportunity for someone younger. Like, I just think of like where I am now, like there's so many opportunities to kind of steer those paths early on and have someone have some of these similar realizations that the four of us are having here now. I'm 37 years old, but being able to do that when they're, 6, 7, 8, I think that's so powerful. And like, the more we can do that as, adults and the younger generation, and like be that light for other people, it just makes society a much, much better place to live.
Agreed. Really. I come from a family that is peppered with mental health and addiction in so many different ways. And I think I was looking back on my son's struggles, and I was asking myself, like, why? Like, what is this here for? Always asking that question, like, furthermore, like, bigger purpose. What is this here for? Because I think there's like billions of lessons and everything that happens for us, right? One of them is, I think, to bring awareness and be open about it, because my family wasn't, and that's why that's why they turned to abuse, drugs, and alcohol, and then it took their life, right? Because there was no openness, there was not seeking the right supports, there was not exploring like all the professionals like you that are out there. And so I love the awareness alone. I think that changing generations starts with just the awareness of, hey, this shit is hard. Let's talk about it and find you the right supports instead of numbing it like society makes so easy for us to do, right?
Yeah. What's nice about working with kids is that you get them at that age where they're wanting to do change. They want to meditate. They want to learn these things. And so they don't go in with a preconceived notion in most cases that this is this new age magical thinking type thing, when there's a lot behind, or that it's religious, that's I can't meditate, that's Buddhist and I'm Catholic, or I'm like, you're missing it. So you really don't get that with kids. I joke that the hardest part of my job is the parents.
When you're talking, I started thinking about how many parents are that kid parenting the kid. You see what I mean? And how so many parents deserve a little you to go to a beach. I didn't mentally think that as you were talking, which is interesting. I was like, the adults need it too.
I have a few adult clients. I see kids, but all adults up to the age 26. But I do have like instances where I'll make an exception. And I pick 26 because that's when they say the brain is done developing. So I can help with a lot of transitions when kids go from high school to college, or they graduate with their bachelor's degree. And I do have experience in like career readiness. So that being said, lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, good.
It's only 6 a.m. on your time, so it's on.
Yeah.
I would not be okay.
Super glad that you.
Prayer, Danielle says, "Oh my goodness, I love that." Danielle, do you want to spice things up with a rendition for us?
Yeah, let's do it. Ooh, I didn't see I picked this one. Okay. If you had to write a 1-sentence mission statement for your life, what would it be?
For my life, I'm like, hurry, get out my work, my mission statement for honorary godparent.
Wow. Yeah.
Expect the unexpected and power through it.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, most definitely. Because yeah.
I've never really thought about like for my life. That was deep.
Yeah.
I know. I got me when I read it. I was like, I don't know. Like, I should have pre-thought about this one a little bit. I'm even like, shouldn't Steven, let me make sure I like accurately execute that.
Where's my handy assistant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think mine would be grow through what you go through.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think it's all about shit's gonna happen. Life happens, like literally every day life happens. And we have like the entire purpose of life happening is to grow and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always say it's an opportunity for spiritual growth, but
100%.
I joke that when God, when you like, well, if people pray, we'll we're all inclusive here, but like imagine someone's praying, they're like, "Dear God, help me with this." It's like, be careful, because God likes to throw really tough things. So I would say,
oh yeah,
gently help me with that problem.
Yeah, it's like praying for patience, and then all of a sudden you get all this stuff happen. Like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Gentle spiritual growth.
I totally added that one to my prayer journal.
Yeah, that's good. That is
We
good.
kind of pray has definitely been a journey, but it's also like intention. And oh my God, that's like its own podcast conversation. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to articulate myself in like a mission statement. I really like feel I
Yeah.
read the sentence that I knew I was gonna be like,
Yeah, that's a
the-
tough one. Mission statement for my life. Oh man. You guys had really good ones that like I could totally get behind.
That you know now is one version of me, but I've had multiple versions of me, and I'm not done. Like I think that was a really important piece of getting the 19-year-olds through the college application. Like, what am I going to do with my life? I've got to have it all figured out. I was like, no, you don't. You like, not only do you not have to have it all figured out, but I would seriously question your sanity if you think you do. I'm 43 and I don't. I actively am like planning my post 55 life, which is not my retirement life. Like I look forward to each iteration, and I appreciate how each ituration builds on the wisdom and the experiences and the failures. Can we normalize failure? The failures of all the stages before, like just keep rebirthing yourself and improving. I think that's fantastic. And I've watched you do that just in the last couple of years, Danielle. Bravo.
thank you. I know it's pretty, sometimes I'm beside myself because it's when other people are growing. Like I've been with people for 2 years now. So to see before and afters, that's when you realize that I don't need a title or some grand moment or even a banking account number to identify that, wow, I'm really making a ripple. Like something's happened because I like believed I could do this. And it really is in my clients. And I've been doing it long enough where I'm seeing it. But you've given quite a few opportunities for me, which is humbling. And then one of my favorite galas I've done was a referral from your space. So Tri-County Mental Health. So just even like the why behind it was incredible. Oh, and I extended out to Graham too. So yeah, it became very fruitful for everybody involved. So thank you for always keeping us top of mind.
I think what you said about the embracing those failures and those changes and iterations is, oh man, I love that we're talking about this right now and how it ties into leading in a space as well. Because, you know, there's those times when you can pinpoint like, okay, this thing happened, or like this situation or this like event, or you know, whatever it is, you know, and the way you can grow from that and find those opportunities to grow and evolve, and you know, where that fork in the road is like, oh man, okay, if I had done this differently, okay, then I can make sure in the future I make sure to stick with this, and like these are the new evolved processes that I'm doing, or whether it's a new career or whatever it is, and then embracing that, you know, and I just really relate with that.
So I have a question because I love this conversation, and it's coming at perfect time. I think this past week I've finished 3 books on your self-identity and being an entrepreneur and going through those challenges, right? And one of the books that I was reading was talking about failure and what failure means to you. And so I guess my question, because I think we're going to have 4 different answers here, is what is failure? What technically is failure to you? Because we all, I think, have this mindset of looking at these things, like you're talking about Graham and Jenna, of looking at these things as to propel you forward. What can I learn? What process can I change? What mindset can I shift? What does failure mean to you if you had to define a failure or give an example of a failure that you thrived through?
That's a good question.
I think failure, you know, everyone's like, just show up for yourself. That's failure, because you can't just show up when it's all sparkly and you have to put on a nice dress. No, you show up when you're sick or it's an uncomfortable time to have a podcast. I'm always 4 minutes late because I got to bring my kids to school. You know what I'm saying? But I do it. Like, so I believe failure is really the act of showing up for yourself. My art is literally 80% failing. Half of my class, if people don't know how to separate themselves personally, those are the ones that can't come back. because like you're working on a move for a month before you can do it. And it's painful, it burns, it's literally uncomfortable. So like I celebrate like great fall. Wow, that fall is beautiful. Or I like, oh, that breeze is nice. Like, you know, or oh my God, I can already see you in 3 months. Fortunately, I can. And my clients are, you know, beginning to trust that and see themselves like growing. But yeah, my entire life is failure. So it's just showing up for yourself. That's how I identify it. I don't see the difference, honestly.
That's a good one.
I love that.
Yeah. I'd say for me, and like I have different, like, it depends on the day and stuff, but right now I'm going with the first thing that came into my head when you asked this question as my answer. And for me, I would say just like failure is like completely not working. I don't even know how to say it. Like giving up, you know, essentially, like how to say that. Like that is a definition of failure, because everything else, I don't, like you said, Danielle, I don't even consider it failure. You know what I mean? It's just all different opportunities. Like, but if you stop, that is failure.
I think it's interesting because the definition of failure is lack of success. And I like could not agree strongly the other way.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
Is that the Wikipedia? Like,
yeah, I just looked it up because I'm sitting here, Graham, exactly what you said, which is, I think for me, like the book just asked a question of what identify a failure that's happened to you and work through it. And there's like some reflective questions and stuff. And I was sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I really can't pick a moment of failure in my life, because in my eyes, failure is when I didn't take the risk, I didn't take the chance, I didn't take the action, I didn't look at a situation, a challenge as a way to learn. I really can't buy any of that, because I think that even if you, like, say you try something and it doesn't work, let's say you like try a business idea and it completely makes you no money and you just go into debt and it goes nowhere. I don't even perceive that as failure, because I think that that leads you to something that you're meant to do, like some way or somehow. So failure, totally do not agree with the definition.
That ties right back into what you were saying, Shanna, if you did get into that debt, like you said, Trinity, that next phase of your life, you know, maybe you're on number 5 or number 6 now, you know.
I mean, I think so. I much like the actual definition. So I would add like a phrase at following the like technical definition. Failure is any time that you don't achieve the expectations you've set, right? And so like the word success that is in your formal definition, Trinity, that you use, failure is when you don't achieve the success the way you define success when you set your goal. And I think it's really important to name that, because ultimately you are the integral piece to what success was defined as. And so if you didn't learn and that was not part of your success model, then you did fail, right? And so when I think about, I regularly try to normalize failure. Like I will say things like, what's your favorite failure from the last week? And what did we learn from it? Right? Because in my mind, the failure is the opportunity for the growth. I run an organization. We're responsible for work plans, for contracts, for finances, for member expectations. And so there's a lot of metrics of success that we place on ourselves, that others place on us, and that we have to deliver on. And I'm not in a position to be able to pretend that those don't exist, but I don't hold myself or my staff accountable to whether they strictly achieved that or not from a performance standard, right? It's like, what did we aim for? Did we achieve that success? And if we failed to achieve that success, how are we growing from it? And as long as there's something that we can take away from it, I think it's actually really important. One of the things that so a couple of those kids are football players, and so sometimes I use sports analogies, but I think you can actually pick up a lot of yardage on the field from when you fumble, right? Like if you play it right, you can pick up a lot of yardage. And so, you know, whether it's a personal relationship with family, a romantic relationship with a partner, a business relationship with an employee, a peer, or a client, you're going to screw up. And the most important thing is how you handle that, because that is where you are testing the relationship. And then you're able to prove that your test shows that you're trustworthy, that it shows that you are a person of your word, to Graham's point, that you have integrity and that you're being authentic. I get really concerned when leaders can't apologize. Right. That's like a huge red flag for me. I'm the first to own a screw up, right? And so and pretty regularly, because we do a lot, which means when you have a lot of balls in the air, like you're probably kind of messing with one at any given time. So the reality is I'm the first to say, hey, I didn't meet my goal of getting this to you the way that I wanted to. I did want to take the time to do it well, and I put more emphasis on that. That might have been wrong. I welcome your feedback. Here's the finished product. I hope that we can move forward with it. And I just own it from the front end. And I think that people respond really positively to that, and you can build trust through your failure.
This group of B&I, I'm part of a professional group that is more focused on my specific niche, and so, which is videos, video marketing. And so when I need that mindset reshift, I'll first start by reaching out to someone in one of those two things. They'll get me to view it from outside of myself. And then I have my my let go affirmations and like all those things that I'll do, like quick meditation, prayer, stuff like that. And that's usually how I start the day, and or during the day, just like let go stuff. Because, there's been some lessons in the past few days even, and that's exactly what I did. Whereas like, okay, got to call so-and-so, and then, we talk it through, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel a lot better. And then it's like, okay, what can I do to move forward? Have my meditations, let go, wake up the next morning. It's a new day, and we're ready to rock.
I love that. What about you, Jim? Do you have anything that you do on a regular basis to get rebooted?
So when the phone rings or I get an email, it is always a fire. People don't call me to say, hey, they do projects and things like that. But most times when people contact the IT guy, there's a problem. So I'm immediately put into defensive mode. What can we, and then like trying to think of stuff like that. And it can be stressful at times. It could be, you get that one client who is maybe not that easy to deal with. And again, being malleable with them and trying to keep them, on the straight and narrow, and trying to get them fixed and things like that. Really what I do is every night I actually play Call of Duty with my friends all around the country. We've got a guy who's in his 70s. We've got, most of us are in our mid 50s. And we just play and we laugh, and we are pretty sure that anybody under the age of 30 is cheating because they're better than us. But, so my release on that, and it has been for over 20 years, it's just been kind of that, that release into escaping into what a video game brings for me with my friends. And these are people that I talk to every day. One thing that kind of led to that, though, and kind of leading me into wanting to help people and stuff like that. I was an avid comic book collector when I was a kid. And when I was working for Best Buy, for Blockbuster Video out in Denver, I actually saw a little kid get hit by a car, and he was a regular person, like a regular client, a regular customer. So I went out and I helped him, and through the whole thing, and he ended up going to the hospital, and Blockbuster put together some stuff to give him to his family and stuff. And when I went to deliver it, his aunt said, Larry, tell Mr. Keenan who saved you. And he said it was Superman. When he was in shock, I was wearing a Superman tie, and that's all he saw.
Oh, my God.
So, it stuck out. People gave me so much stuff, like sitting here watching me work every day. See if I can get it in there well enough. Put it in front of me. There you go. A lot of my stuff is that way. And so there are stories behind what I do. And yeah, to escape, sometimes I have to do, some things that, I know a lot of people look at and go, oh, that's so violent. It's like, believe me, you want me to do it then and not when I'm sitting at your server. So.
Love that. I I think that's like we talked about in previous episodes, like that mindless stuff that we all do is very unique. Like all four of us here have different mindless stuff. And that's one for you, Jim, where you can really like disconnect with the reality and just put yourself into something else that gets all of those feelings out and has a connection to the people that you love, right? Like, I love that for you. That's beautiful. Yes, I'm referring to Call of Duty as beautiful.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
myself.
I bet you won't say that to your son.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fortnite. It's Fortnite on this end.
Ah.
Oh, Roblox over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roblox. Self-coping skills is literally like what I do for a living and like why. Because I laughed at them when I was younger. So I do pretty well. Like, I mean, I can mimic everything you guys said. I don't think there's the meditation, self-soothing, praying. Sometimes just get down on hands and knees. Sometimes I really have to remember that my children only want a happy mom, and that everything else is kind of bullshit. Nothing really matters. It's all like just a smoke screen. You know what I mean? And so I try to remove myself from daily activities or work or all of those needs. Like it made me giggle because it was like I had like 4 messages when I woke up this morning, and it was all very like alert. You know what I mean? Like react, respond. Nothing like, hey, good morning, gorgeous. You know, reaction. So I relate.
All of mine start with "Good morning, gorgeous," even though it's an emergency.
You've trained your clients well. I should work on that. Yeah. So I usually, and then I looked over, and my kids were like sleeping, and I'm about to get them ready. And I could remember, use for a slither that it just doesn't even matter.
I love that. I really do love that. For me, if I had to pick one, I literally have 100 of them. If I had to pick one, it would be just to constantly remind myself, it really is not in my control. Nothing is in our control. And so I think reminding myself of that, and I use that a couple of different ways, meditation, journaling is huge, even if it's just 1 or 2 sentences, journaling. And just really like the bottom line is it comes down to giving it to God. Like it's not our control. The only thing we control is the way we look at things, the way we feel things, what we focus on, how we perceive them. And so like, that's why I created grace, gratitude, celebration, because those 3 words, when you practice them, allows you to refocus on what you are in control of and give away the things that you're not in control of and ask for that guidance. So I think that like it'll alleviates, for me at least, alleviates that responsibility of trying to figure things out. Like just give it to God and then focus on actions that I can take next, one at a time.
That's awesome.
I heard that actually, that the part of the brain that expresses gratitude is opposite from anxiety. So you can actually not be in anxiety if you are stating what you're grateful for, that the brain literally cannot chemically function on one side or the other. They have to be separate. So I find that I needed to know that, I guess, to appreciate gratitude more. And so now it's my way of parenting. If my kids are fighting too much, I say, list something grateful. Your brain can't be upset while you're grateful. And it works on them. So that's like my new thing.
That's awesome. I totally agree. Super grateful for this conversation and for the Unfiltered Path podcast and for all you listeners out there and for Jim for joining us today. Super grateful for all of that. My name is Graham Duval. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. We provide video marketing to businesses. You can find me at valuedproductions.com, VALUD productions.com, and at Valued Productions on social media. Follow the Unfiltered Path podcast. Also joined with the awesome co-host today.
Hey guys, Trinity Baker. You can find me on all your favorite social media platforms, The Trinity Baker. That's also my website, thetrinitybaker.com. I have a free 5-day mindset transformation program that you can do. All you got to do is just go on my website, tabs right there. So go check it out. And he joined here today by my co-host, Spider Girl. Kidding. Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm an aerialist. You can find me on Ariel Jade or Ariel Jade Art on all major platforms, as well as arielJade.com. You can live chat with me there. I am currently focusing on booking out birthday parties as the spring and summer season is coming. And being Spider Girl is a particular niche I am focusing on, as I do act as her. So that's all I have to say. And we're here with our wonderful guest.
Have a great day, everyone. This is Jim Keenan with Keenan Technologies. You can find me at KeenanTech.com online. I am on Facebook and other places like that, but the best way to get a hold of me is right on my website at KeenanTech.com. I do want to say really quickly that I did not see the spider symbol, but I saw the pattern, and I was going to ask you if you were Spider-Man, but I was like, are you Spider-Girl? And I'm like, well, I don't want to offend her because I didn't see the spider. I didn't want her to think that I thought her clothing was like Spider-Man's uniform until I saw the spiders. So thank you.
Love it.
That was awesome.
So Madam Web is a redheaded Spider Girl, and I couldn't relate more. I love Spider-Verse. I feel like it's the most accurate to how life actually is. Multiple versions of ourselves running at any given time. We can access all of them. And I am an aerialist. So even our hand spray we use to stick to the silk, I've been really, it's funny because I needed a superhero in my life, so I identify with being one and encouraging other people to access that version of themselves inside of them. So it's so cool that you brought it up today. I was giggling in my mind. The truth is, we had a podcast last night and then wearing the same clothes. And so I didn't want anyone to know that, I just went from podcast to parenting to waking up to parenting to podcast.
Good. Love it. Make sure you follow the Unfiltered Path podcast on all places where podcasts are found, and join us next week on the Unfiltered Path podcast.
Thanks for having me.